I mean, you got haunted houses and haunted carnivals and stuff like that where people have to sign off before they go in because they're going to try to scare the living daylights out of you. But it's very disturbing, to see how this is happening with children, especially on social media. And I get it, there's an incentive, for people to do this because you got people trying to blow up their TikToks, they're trying to blow up their Instagram or their YouTube channels. And a lot of times they're using, these pranks on children where they're just scaring the living daylights out of them. But I don't think sometimes we understand how bad this can be doing this to the children, right? Like I've seen some TikToks where I think it's like one prank or one thing that they do. They, bring the child inside of a room or a bathroom, and then they run out and close the door real quick. And I guess there's some type of filter on the phone that the child is looking at where like a blue ghost appears behind them. And when you see the terror in most of these kids' faces, it's just sad, man. It's just sad to see, and I think one of the most craziest ones that I've seen and really saw the sheer terror on the child's face is the one where where they make believe or make them to think that they've disappeared and nobody in the room can see them now. I mean, horrible, you know what I mean? And I get it because, I don't want to sit here and act like these aren't things that I did back in the days, wanting to scare someone real good, and really getting a good laugh out of seeing the fear in their eyes or seeing them fall or whatever have you, because I didn't have any understanding, right? I didn't know any better. But as I began to grow, especially being saved in the Lord, I saw how serious it was when we do things of that nature, especially in a young child, right? Somebody that their mind isn't fully developed. They haven't even seen anything in life, but here we are instilling this fear in them. I remember on Halloween, when I was younger, man, it was this guy in the neighborhood, and I mean, it felt like it was every Halloween. I can't even really tell you, but I have images in my mind to this day of him chasing me around the neighborhood with this insane mask on. And here I am 45 years old. I'm not still afraid of that, like, when that was happening, of course, but just the fact that it was something that was implanted in my mind. And out of all of these years, there's many things that I've forgotten that has happened in my life, growing up, teenager in the 20s, 30s, whatever have you. But yet and still, this particular incident, these incidents, it's still in my mind. You know what I mean? It doesn't affect me. It doesn't make me feel a type of way. But the fact that that memory is there, it just goes to show how much it affected me at that time, right? For it to still be there and for me to still remember, those days of this guy just chasing me around. And you know what? When I think back to it, he got a kick out of it. He thought it was funny. People in the neighborhood thought it was funny. But once again, they really didn't understand how detrimental that could be to a child and sometimes to adults as well, but especially to children, right? 2 Timothy 1:7, and some of you may be familiar with this passage of scripture. It says, "For God have not given us the spirit of fear." And I want to stop right there because this scripture is letting us know that there is a such thing as the spirit of fear. So think about it. When we're doing these things, when we're scaring the living daylights out of our children, jumping from behind, a wall when they're coming, and I get it, man. That temptation is there to get a good laugh because, like I said, I've been there and done that. Here's the thing: even though you may get a good laugh out of it and get a classic reaction out of it, what you have to understand is you could be possibly, not even possibly, you are instilling some type of spirit of fear in this little guy or in this little young lady. And this is what we have to be super careful about, because the scripture says, "For God have not given us the spirit of fear,